All right, everyone. It is the last Thursday, the last day in April of 2026, and it has been quite the week. It has been quite the April. And with me today, of course, because the show is named after him, is James Savant. Jimmy, how are you, sir?
Uh, I'm kind of interesting. Uh, it's kind of difficult to put it in words, but I'm going to try my best. For years, we struggled to get minority representation in this country and in this state. Look, we're in the South. Jim Crow laws existed. To this day, we know that in Orange County, in the city of Orlando, there's a Division Street, and it was not named after Mr. Division. Okay, let's stop pretending. It's still there, and that was where the whites could live and the blacks could live, and that's how it was split up. And basically, it was made sure that there was no minority representation. Yes, it was all Democrats, but there would be no minority representation, and it was done on purpose. As a matter of fact, into 1960, in this country, you cannot use an Hispanic name, and when that came out is when Hispanics started naming their kids Jose, Carlos, David, and all that. And African Americans started giving their kids African names. Uh, so let's stop pretending that the good old days we want to go back were great. Uh, right now, we have a map that's been created by the state of Florida based on the decision of the Supreme Court that, hey, you could gerrymandering on party lines, but you cannot create a district based on race. You could create a district based on will favor a particular people, but you cannot do it on race. Where the Supreme Court failed to understand one thing it did is now I could challenge the map of the state of Florida because the map of the state of Florida favors whites, which is a race for the record. So can I say that the map that was created by the state of Florida now favors the white people against African Americans? Well, that's a good thing.
That's
That's
a unique
that's an
statement.
interesting thing. But for the next 40 years, there will be no more African American districts in the state of Florida. There will be no more Hispanic districts in the state of Florida. And we're going to go back to the days when I moved here, which was a joke that we would say, hey, Smith and Davis, which of the two is less racist? Oh,
Mm.
Smith. Okay, well, then move over Smith because he's less racist. The days of seeking out the African American vote or seeking out the Hispanic vote, no. The hope is, and this is what I've been told by three strategists, is that because there's no longer an African American district, that will make the power the African Americans decide why go and vote. There's no sense in me voting, which is what they used to do in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, because at the end of the day, uh, the whites decided for them, which is going to go back to that. So, yeah. Uh, and I never thought I would say this, but I worked very hard in 2010 to pass the Fair District Act. And you can say whatever you want and be MAGA or not MAGA and say that the state was unrepresented. Bullshit. Go screw yourself. Every time you do a census, 5 years later, numbers change. Why? Because numbers change. Okay, so don't say we're underrepresented and use that terminology by 1 million. And when I say where and how and prove it, you can't answer because you heard it from somebody else and you just repeat it. So, no, we're not underrepresented. And even though if we were, why do we have to have a map that's Republican?
Mhm.
That doesn't enlarge our numbers. Is based on the same numbers of the census of 2020. For
Yeah,
the record,
that's true.
the numbers are using is census of 2020. So don't tell me that you did it for them. No, you did it to favor your party. And if that's the state that we live in, I'm going to ask the Democrats from other states to move over here like they did. And fine. But I'm going to end with this. I think that it's they're not. There could be more than four Democratic districts. Yeah.
Mhm. Jimmy, and I was in a conversation. I was arguing the same point that you were, and then I was stopped in my tracks by the person I was talking to, and that person said, David, is there any black representation? And we were just speaking about, black folks. Is there black representation in Congress? I was like, of course there is. He said, okay, great. Do you know how many black legislators there are in Congress? And I said, around 60 or so. It's like, that's about correct. Yes. And then we went a little bit further. It's like, what part of the population does black people represent? And I said, oh, about maybe 14%, no more than 15, but right around there. And the person said, well, David, if you look at the number of black legislators in Congress and the proportion they are to the population, it's pretty much the same. The proportion of black representation in Congress and the proportion of black representation in the larger population is just about the same. I'm like, ouch. Okay, understood.
No, that part's from a false premise. We're going to lose our African Americans representation in Texas. We're going to lose it here in Florida. We're going to lose it in Alabama. We're going to lose it in Kentucky and all those other states. Stop that lie.
Well, they brought that part up too, and specifically, Representative Wesley Hunt was brought to my attention because I was having this conversation with this individual about the special elections that were going on in Texas and the primaries that were going on in Texas. And Wesley Hunt was brought up, a black Republican who ran for Senate and did not win the Republican nomination or the runoff. However, I was steered in his direction, and he represents a majority white district as a congressman. And that person said, there's more like that out there. And then, because I follow the banking committee in the Senate, the person said, David, I see that you post X, Y, Z, or you repost stuff in regards to cryptocurrency and the banking committee and the city and all that stuff. You do understand who the chair of that committee is. And I was like, oh boy, I know where this is going. Yeah, from the great state of South Carolina, Tim Scott.
Wow, the token black.
Exactly.
The token black. And this is the part that bothers me and offends me. Yeah, they have one black senator in the great state of South Carolina, who, by the way, population, African American population, is more than 16%. It's something close to 30. Okay, so let's start by that.
Sure.
Second thing is that and this is the thing that we need to understand. When you say in the U.S. Senate that out of the 53 state,
Congress people.
No. When you're talking about the Senate of the 100 senators, you don't have 15 black.
You're right. You don't. You have Scott.
And this is the game they play. Congress. Yeah, you have 400 some senators. Congress people, and basically, yes, you do. You just lost one for the record because the guy and that lost. He lost. Okay, and basically, you having a problem right now that basically you're saying, hey, the chances of blacks winning, we're going to significantly reduce it. And Hispanics, look, my problem is not so much that you're trying to do it. Just admit it. We're trying to make this a great country again when it was in the 60s, when blacks had and Hispanics were in their place and whites control. And you talk when we gave you permission to do so. Look, I lived that period. You did? I did. I realized that it was a big deal. I think it was in 1963 when they said, no, you can name your kids any names you want.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, before that, I cannot give a Spanish name to my kids if I want to, and you can only give a white Christian name to even a African American kid. As a matter of fact, they one of the things that most people do not know is that Muhammad Ali tried to change his name illegally, and he was not allowed because he was not using an acceptable name. This is the thing that we have to understand. They're trying to control it by saying we're going to make it all Republican. And by the way, the two Hispanic districts in South Florida that were Republicans are gone.
Yeah.
Okay. Why? Well, we don't care about the Cuban vote anymore. We really don't. We don't care about the Hispanic vote anymore. You're going to have two congresswomen who are going to be out. Literally. As a matter of fact, in one of them, they did it so badly, the district is 1% Republican.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think that a 1% is going to win, and that's why I keep saying they still have that as a Republican seat, but it's a 1% advantage. And by the way, that one down there has the highest of South Florida of independents. Mm-hmm. That one's going either independent or it's going to go Democrat. This is the problem that I have. The laws that were passed in the 60s were the result of hundreds of years of abuse with Jim Crow laws, which we all know existed, with abuses against African Americans, with abuse against Hispanics, with abuses against other minorities, because we don't talk about the Asians, we don't talk about other groups, but we do. As a matter of fact, if you want to find out if a gene was prepared before 1922, you go into the back pocket of it, and if it says done by only by a white person, that was because there was a law that they were trying to market and say Chinese people are not manufacturing these genes. That's how bad our history is. So let's stop pretending that that they're trying to hurt African Americans and Hispanic. They're not trying to hurt us only. They're trying to say, you guys tend to be Democrats, we're going to fuck you. Now, if African Americans were Republicans, like in the 60s with Martin Luther King, probably the lines would be different. And if it was the Republican Party in the 60s, they would not be in power. But this is the problem that I have. Okay. The problem is that they're not doing this to really hurt one group or the other. They're doing it to make it more Republican because they realize that Democrats have minorities tend to go with the Democrats because for years, traditionally, MAGA is a racist movement. I'm trying to say, trying to go back to the era when racism was prevalent and was legal. That's the only thing. You make America great again. Go back to the 50s. Go back to the 60s. Well, back in the 50s, a Daisy cannot have a bank account.
That's right. That's true. That's true. That's very true.
And the idea back in the 50s, if you were a single mom, that would not look very well. So, I have a problem. But are they 60? Yes. In Congress? Yes. And the majority come from up north.
Right. But Jimmy, will we be making the same arguments if we were in Illinois? And when you look at that map, it is a heavy gerrymander map in favor of the Democrats.
So let me clarify. No. Let me say why not.
Okay.
This was started by Donald Trump.
Yes.
Yeah. Texas go and do it. Texas did it. So Illinois did it. So let's not stop putting the Democrats in this seat. Look, for years, the map here in Florida favored the Republicans. But they were more conscious to say, let's in those areas that Democrats are strong, let's let them have their seats. Okay. Now, now you're taking the seats that were Democrats and you're just cutting them up and making them Republican. And you're not even trying to pretend that you're not doing it. You're doing it on purpose. So to bring in the Illinois is offensive, because the question I'm going to ask you, if it wasn't for Texas, would there be in Illinois? And the answer is no.
No, not really, Jimmy. Illinois gerrymandered their districts in 2022. Trump went to Texas, or insinuated to Texas, hey, maybe you guys need to look at your maps, and therefore Texas added to.
Yeah. Let's stop
after the Illinois.
Yeah, David, let's stop this bullshit.
Okay.
Republican states have always gerrymandered Republican. Democrat states have always gerrymandered. So to try to say that Illinois is something special is bullshit.
Okay, well, let's add New England into the picture. Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont. I mean, there are literally no seats for Republicans in those states because of.
Okay, so you really want to go there? Let's go there.
Okay.
Let's go to Kentucky. Let's go to Mississippi. Let's go to Alabama. Let's go to Georgia. Let's go to I could keep on Florida, our home state. Let's go into Iowa. Let's go into Utah. Let's go into Texas, because Texas has more seats, but Texas was always gerrymandered for Republicans. We could go into Montana. We could go into Wyoming.
What about the big one? What about the big one, Jimmy? Don't leave out California.
Well, yeah. So California, hallelujah, happens to be. This is the problem. It's the biggest state in the nation, and yes, it is Democrat. But stop the bullshit like, the Democrats are doing this. No, everybody's doing it. If you want to be fair,
I agree, everyone's doing it.
If you want to be fair, let's be fair.
Yes.
The bullshit that the Democrats are doing it, no. The Republicans have been doing it for years. Okay? They control the maps here, and they have made them favor Republicans. Okay? It's no ifs, no question about it. They've done it. So, yes, because this is a Republican state. California's a Democrat state. They do it for theirs. Look, that's the problem that this country has. But to try to say that one is doing it and the other is not, that's the biggest bullshit that can come out of anybody's mouth. And that's the problem I have with these so-called MAGAs misinformers. The MAGAs misinformers will tell you, they're doing this. Yeah, you're trying to deflect that you're doing it too. Mm-hmm. Both parties are doing it. And it's not something new. The problem is what has happened now, and this, yes, I will blame the Republicans. You would try to pretend in the past that you were trying to be fair. You tried. Trump said, hey, fuck everybody. Make this a Republican state. Take away at least 8 or 9 seats, Democrat seats, and turn them into Republican. He said it. It came out of his mouth. It's not that. And Texas went and did it. Right now, the new map took away at least 8 Democratic seats.
Yeah.
Took away 8 Democratic seats. So let's stop pretending that, they do it. That's why we're doing it. Bullshit. We've been doing it for years. But the first state that said, we're going to do it openly and making sure that it is a Republican state and we're not even trying to pretend to be fair was Texas. And it was at the order of the person who cannot govern.
And just for clarification, the map that's currently in place, not the one that DeSantis presented a couple of days ago and the legislature approved and he'll sign. However, the map that eliminated Corrine Brown's legislative district that was gerrymandered all the way from northern Florida down into Orlando, that was eliminated, creating this current map. And it was wait. It was the ACLU and Eric Holder, the AG, the former AG for the Obama administration, who agreed with the DeSantis administration on the current map that we have right now.
Yeah, And that one had at least a more sense of fairness, had 8 more Democratic seats. So if you're going to say that, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, this is the problem I have with the lawyers of the MAGA side. Who created Corinne Brown seat?
Was it the 2010 fair districts? I'm not too sure. It was before my time. The census before.
It was created under under Governor Bush, a Republican, approved by a Republican House and Senate. The Republicans have controlled Florida since the 90s. Excuse me, since the 80s. So the map that you're talking about, this is the part that really pisses me off with the MAGAs, because they lie to your face with such a impunity. Oh, what about the map of Corinne Brown? Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But you know where that mentality comes from.
Where from?
When the Republicans realized that they were about to lose power, or that they could not continue to discriminate against Hispanics and blacks, here's where they come in. Okay, how can we do this? And it's what it was called: create one super district. So they created Korean super district, and out of 22 back then, there was 22 congresswoman people. One was black. What we used to call them in the minority token. Bingo. There you go. Okay. You recall, because you were here, after the 2010 map, in which I lost a lot of fight over it.
Okay.
There was a movement by Byron, the ex-mayor of Apopka, who was then a commissioner, to create a super Hispanic district.
Okay.
That way there would be one white, there will be one black district, one Hispanic district, and 4 white.
Okay.
That is the mentality of the Republicans. I'll give you one, but I'll still keep the majority.
Okay.
So when they keep saying, well, there's been no. Stop lying. You have somebody here who knows your history. Your history is, I'm going to create a black one, I'm going to create an Hispanic one, and then I'm going to have 4 white ones. So I'll vote you 2-1. That is their mentality. Corinne Brown District was created by a Republican House, a Republican Senate, to create out of the 22 seats 1 black and leave 21 white. So don't stop pretending that this is something that was done by Democrats, not in this state. Corinne Brown was created by Governor Bush. He was the one who signed that law. I was here in Florida at that time, and I knew what they were doing. Hey, don't say we're obstacles. Don't say that we created one, just one. And by the way, it was kind of interesting because that took away all possible influence of African Americans in 6 and 10 counties. Most people don't know that. They tend to think that, oh, well, wait a minute, this was done by Democrats? No, it was done by Republicans. Why? To say, hey, at least we tried. Now, Republicans don't give a shit about white, black. Well, no, they care about white. They don't care about blacks. They don't care about Hispanics. They care about creating pink districts. And that's what they have done, because they did not create these districts to help, and to, in my opinion, not even to hurt us. We are just a sacrificial lamb. They want Republicans. And they're realizing that in South Florida, the youth of the Hispanic population right now is registered as independents, and normally does not vote Republican. So they said, "Screw you. We could Maria Celeste and Alana, you're losing your seats." And by the way, they were Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they have given the seat to and the chance of an Hispanic winning those seats is nil, and the chances of an African American winning that seat is nil. The chances of a white person winning that seat is great.
Goes up. Right.
So, I'm sorry, this bullshit that the MAGAs come up with of misinformation and sometimes a blunt lie. The seat of Corrine Brown historically was created under the governorship of George Bush with a Republican House and a Republican Senate, who basically their thing was to shut up everybody's mouth. They created a super African American district. But they didn't do that with Hispanics, for the record.
Exactly. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about. And then there's something else about the competitiveness. But since we do have the Hispanic vote on the up front and center, this new map makes Congressman Darren Soto, the veteran in the Central Florida delegation, in the Orange County delegation. It expands his district all the way down to the Glades County and onto the coast, and it makes it more Republican leaning. Why?
And all white.
Yeah, and all white. And it's going to make it very difficult for Congressman Soto to keep his seat. And I'm looking at.
Well, he can run in other areas. This is the interesting thing. Let me ask you a question. Do you have to live in your district to run for it?
No, sir. I hope and pray. I'm going to say it right now. I hope and pray he runs in District 9. Oh, no, in District 10.
Oh, he's not going to run in District 10.
Ah, dang it.
Oh, dang it.
I know. I just think he'll make a better congressman. And he's more sensible. So,
well, you know something? Let me wake you up. This country doesn't want sensible on either side.
And Jimmy, that goes to my competitiveness.
This country does not want sensible. Let me give you an example that I can prove it in 2 minutes. Maine. What happened Sunday in Maine?
What happened Sunday? Oh,
Yeah.
This Sunday?
Yeah.
Well, we've got this Sunday.
No, last Sunday.
Oh, last Sunday. Oh, we had the attempted assassination of.
No. What happened in Maine on Sunday?
Oh, in Maine. Oh, are you talking about the governor deciding to suspend her campaign for Senate?
Let me say this. You have a governor. Let's get this clear. You have a governor, two-term governor, two-term attorney general.
Yeah.
Supposedly moderate, supposedly sensible, running against an oyster farmer who's never held office, who has some questionable tattoos, has made some questionable statements, and granted, they were all 30 years ago, and I'll give him credit for that. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Was in his 40s and who is ahead in the polls. That's because Democrats, like Republicans, are sick and tired of the establishment, sick and tired of the same thing, sick and tired of people trying to pretend that they're moderate.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they want somebody to go and do something other than taking money from the great corporations and voting in favor for them. They want somebody who, look, the biggest disruptor is somebody that you admire, Donald J. Trump. He's a great disruptor. He's never been one of those traditional people. Sensible? Hell no. Intelligent? Nah. But he knows what this country is pissed off at. They're pissed off at the government. They're pissed off at the establishment. They're pissed off at the moderates and the people not doing anything. And basically, even though he's done shit, he's convinced them that he can.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what you're having in this country. Both parties do not want the establishment, do not want the medium, do not want moderates. Moderates have done shit.
However, Jimmy, with these, and speaking of Florida now, with these redistricted maps or the redistricted map, it makes these districts more competitive. So doesn't that mean that whether you're running in a Democratic primary or in a general election, you're going to have to meet the needs or at least listen to the concerns of the vast majority of the people in the middle in order to get elected in these new districts?
Okay, first, you part from a false premise.
Okay.
I keep hearing people saying this to me, and I'm going like, can you show me the math? Okay, what percentage of this country calls themselves MAGAs or conservative? According to numbers, it's 38%.
Within the who those individuals who identify as
either
Republicans.
MAGA or conservatives, because I understand, I've been told many times, and you're right, and that MAGA is not a conservative, and conservative is not a MAGA. I understand that. But those extremes is 38%. How many people consider themselves progressives? That's another 40%. That's 78%. That leaves you with 22% that may call themselves moderate. The majority of the people in this country is not moderate. We've been told that lie. We've been fed that lie. And that's not true. Majority of this country is polarized, one side or the other. 38 and 40 is 78. 40% call themselves progressives or liberals. 38% call themselves MAGAs or conservative.
Okay.
Those are not moderate people. I would never call a MAGA person moderate because that offends moderates. I would never call a progressive immoderate because that also would have. So when people tell me the majority of people are in the middle, no, they're not. If that was the case, Maine, the governor of Maine, would have had a better chance. The reason they want to get rid of Susan Collins in Maine is because they want to change. Okay.
They've said that for so long, and every time she comes out on top, just say it. I'm just saying.
She's gone. And you know, and I have a second problem. I'm telling my generation, get the fuck out of politics. If you're into your 70s, which is the other issue, you know, the governor of Maine is 78.
Yes,
really, what? You know, the people do not want old people running. As a matter of fact, no, they don't. The thing that bothers me, and bothers me to no avail, is that the MAGA people, Biden is an old fart. And what is Donald Trump? They're both old farts. Neither of them should have been our president. But that's for another day. But to say that the majority of this country is moderate, no. As a matter of fact, what is true is one thing that most of us do not understand. The parties do not understand that who won the election for Donald Trump was the independents, was not Republicans. Who won the election for Joe Biden were the independents, not the Democrats.
Right.
The truth of the matter is that right now, I'll tell you what a friend of mine told me who's a Republican consultant. Right now, Republicans that go out there and say, hey, gas is $4.19 a gallon, and if it keeps going the way it goes, it might end up at $5 by August, according to the projections. Not that it's okay. You lost your subsidy for your health care. You got $300 back on your taxes, which you spend in 2 months in gas. There's been nothing done that has helped you with your economics. And other than they're giving tax breaks to the rich, what is the campaign issue going to be for Republicans? They have none.
Mhm.
The truth of the matter is that realistically, independents have abandoned the MAGA movement, not that they were ever part of it. Okay? They voted for Donald Trump because they saw Biden fucking up.
Yeah, he
They
has to
see
step out.
Trump fucking up, they could have voted for the other person. But they showed us something that I don't think you people who claim to understand politics understand. Donald Trump beat not once, twice the best of the Republican Party. DeSantis didn't hold a chance. Donald Trump didn't even go to the debates, and he won all the fucking primaries. Why? Because the party do not want establishment people. The people do not want a moderate. They want somebody who's going to bring change. And a moderate doesn't bring change. Moderate keeps things the way they are. So when people tell me that the majority of people are moderates, I don't. To take the words of Newsroom, you remember Newsroom? I'm going to say it. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about because this country is not a moderate country. This country is divided between liberals and conservatives.
Right.
Yeah, the MAGAs are not there, but right now, at the end of the day, no, I don't see the majority of this country being moderate.
Okay, so taking that argument, the moderates are not the majority. However, they are an integral part of the electorate that can swing the election to the Republicans or the Democrats. We've seen that, and to for the first time in a long time, Jimmy, because these guys were driving me crazy for a while. One of the podcasts that we both mentioned in the past, and I'm going to go to the Pod Save America. I listened to today in their interview with Ken Martin, the head of the DNC. And there's this resistance to release the 200-page 2024 autopsy of what happened, why the Democrats did not win the presidency. And so my question is, there's that reluctance to just bring that information to the forefront for all of us to see. Are the Democrats or liberals, or let's say the Democrats, DNC, are they prepared, ready to have that conversation, not just with their base, but also with the middle that they need to win in 2028, 2026? Let's even take 2026 and 2026, but definitely
I think
2028.
I think in that aspect, it's not the Democrats; it's the leadership. Look, in 2015, the Republicans got the same. They did the same thing.
Mhm.
They read it, and what did they do with it?
They shat on it. They shat on it, and then here comes Trump.
And here comes Trump. So really, what I'm trying to tell you is stop thinking traditional. Stop thinking that this cares. I've been saying this for years, and I know people say that I took it from Jim Carville, and he said it before I did, and I will give him his credit. It's all about the economy. Stupid. Do the people care that the Democrat Party is not following the writing that they was given? No. Did they care that the Republican Party did not care about? No. Do the people care that Republicans are right now trying to do their best to keep the House by gerrymandering? No, they don't care.
Yeah.
That's what I keep saying. People are going to go out there and say, "Okay, I'm a Republican candidate. Vote for me." Okay, what are you? What have you done for me? The economy is fucked up. Yes, and I'm in control. Well, yeah, but that was Biden's thing 2 years ago. Bullshit. I'm not buying that. The price of gas went up because you guys couldn't plan Iran correctly, and we end up in a fight over gas prices. So no, the economy has been going down south. Plus, Donald Trump won on the promise, "I will fix the economy," and he has not. Period. Okay. So to keep saying, well, Biden is bullshit. That's the lies of the MAGA people. Oh, well, no, no, no. He said, not my words. I'll fix it. It's a simple fix. I'll do it in day one. That was his words. People believed him, and he didn't. Okay. So if we're going to start talking about not following things, people don't care about the Democrats. They don't care about the Republicans. That's why you don't and let me put it this way. Trump didn't do a good job. You're out. Biden didn't do a good job. You're out. Trump cannot run, so he's not going to be out. But any of his people who tried to say, I'm going to stay the course, they're out. People want a change. And this is my recommendation. And it's not in the book because I talked to some people who know what's in there. Find somebody like the oyster farmer to run for president. Not him, but somebody who has no experience, somebody who has charisma, who could come and say, "Look, I'm gonna go to Washington. I'm gonna end with the corruption. I'm gonna put all these people who've been taking money and for political favors, put them in jail, and I'm going to work on what is important to us, and just one thing: the economy." And for the record, stupid, the economy is international.
Oh, yes, it is.
And that's been that way before we became a great nation. Because the whole thing of our fight with Great Britain was under 5 letters.
Representation without no taxation without representation.
The 5 letters was taxes. If they had not imposed the taxes, we would not be bitching about representation because we're not paying towards Great Britain, so we would not be entitled to it. The problem is that once they imposed the taxes on us, and they started shooting some of us, we decided to go. Yeah, the truth of the matter is that it's always been about the economy.
Right, we agree.
And when people tell me, "Well, moderates, you have to say this, you have to say that," look, I would like to find one MAGA person who will tell me that they believe that Donald Trump has never said a lie. I haven't met them yet.
Right. They're out there.
I've never met them. I suppose they're out there, but he's lying.
Oh, yes. And I tell folks, don't listen to the dude. Just watch what he does and the people around him.
But he doesn't do anything. The people around him do things, and sometimes they get it right, and sometimes they get it wrong. And that's like my professor used to say, it's a 50-50. Okay, so, but the problem is that right now there's more things going wrong than right. So basically, that's where but the same thing is that we need to find somebody new, some new blood who can say, hey, we're going to change things. And I even have the slogan for it.
Okay.
Let's save America from its madness.
Let's save.
Because the worst enemy right now is not foreign countries, it's us.
Mm-hmm.
We're so divided that we cannot talk to each other. We cannot compromise. We cannot work out a deal. We cannot do anything. And right now, we're hurting ourselves. Granted, it is pushed by influence on social media come from China and Russia. We know that, but we have not really done anything to protect ourselves at all. But yes, we're divided. To say, well, but it's this or that. No. If you're a MAGA, everything that's happening bad today is the fault of Biden. If you're a Democrat, everything that's happening bad today is the fault of Trump. That is what's screwing up this country. We do not talk. We cannot say, look, we could do better. Mm-hmm. And the way we do better is working together, not divided. Right now, yeah. So let me go into something that maybe is on the topic and I want to go on.
Okay.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Would you think it would be a good thing to settle right now as part of the discussions between Iran and the U.S. that both sides stop the blockade and let the flow of oil go through so the prices of oil could go down? You have to give something to get something. I'm sorry.
That's
For those
true.
of you, no. You cannot, this stupidity that you could demand, and I want this, and I'm not going to give you shit. That doesn't even work in a marriage. Sorry.
Yeah, very true. I say no, and this is the reason why. Until we have an agreement with the regime that is in charge, whoever the 50 odd warlords or tribal chiefs or whoever is in charge, whether it's the Revolutionary Guard or whatever, uh, until we have an agreement that Iran will not have a nuclear weapon, nor will it enrich any type of uranium towards a nuclear weapon, and also hand over the thousand, I think about approximately 1,000 pounds of uranium that they do have. Until that is done, no.
So you are with the Israel people that are willing to screw up the world's economy for something that is our fault.
The United States exported a record this past month.
No.
Wait, 6.4 million
Stop that
barrels
bullshit.
of
Stop that
oil.
bullshit.
No, Jimmy.
We're still paying $5 for 19 here a gallon.
And you want to
And
know
that makes
why?
rich a group of people. That does not help us.
Exactly. It enriches a group of people that control the pricing of the security in that allows the oil to flow through the strait, and also the premium that the
No, it's not gonna look. It's not gonna flow. No, stop that.
no,
You're running from a premise that it's going to flow. No, it's not. The truth of the matter right now is that the U.S. cannot produce. The U.S. cannot produce enough oil for the whole world. This is the problem that I have with the MAGAs and their lies.
I'm not worried about the rest of the world. But Jimmy, we have enough oil to export, though. We do,
but not for the whole world.
But the pricing of oil on the international market is not controlled by America. Until that changes, like what I forgot which country recently left.
Okay, that's the second
start.
biggest lie. That's the second biggest lie. Okay.
Let
me ask you a question. Do you really think, okay, that if the rest of the world is selling the barrel of oil at $111 a barrel, we're going to be stupid enough to sell it for 70?
Oh heck no. We're gonna
sell for 111.
Exactly. But we're not in control of the pricing of oil.
No. Technically, that is the biggest bullshit. We have agreed because, look, the people who put together OPEC, the number one person who moved to create OPEC is us.
And the UAE just recently announced that they're leaving.
They're leaving because they're choked. And the UAE can leave right now? And when asked this question, because you need to listen, you can sell your oil cheaper now. No, we're not leaving to sell oil cheaper. We don't have a problem with the price. We have the problem that they won't allow us to export more oil and make more money. That's their thing. It is not. It is their quota. It is not the price. See, that's the whole problem, that the misinformation is so big. And that's what people keep saying, fake news, because there's misinformation. UAE, you ask them why because they are choking us with the quotas that they put on us. We want to sell more oil. Do they want to sell it cheaper? No, they're going to sell it at 100. The problem is that right now, you are trying to do the Israel's thing of we want them to do this. We create the problem by saying we're out of here. We're breaking the treaty with you guys, which was being verified every year by the International Atomic Energy people that they had enrich.
They were still enriching uranium.
And there's no problem with that.
Jimmy, if Iran gets a bomb, then Saudi Arabia wants a bomb. If Saudi Arabia wants a bomb, then Qatar wants a bomb. And then if Qatar wants it's just this domino effect. And then we've got a very unstable Middle East. I mean, it's hard enough having Iran and Pakistan at each other's
Okay.
throats, and they both have bombs. I mean, as far as the
okay.
Israel,
Let's get this clear.
Israel's not part of this conversation.
Yeah. The problem is that you're trying to put like Iran is trying to create a bomb, and in the 47 years that they've been in power, they have not had one.
But however, Jimmy, they have enriched uranium.
And that's the bullshit of Netanyahu saying that is the reason to go to war with them. With all due respect, he's been saying that since the 80s. Do they? Yes. And you know
and they also are a state sponsor of terrorism, not just in the Middle East, but across the globe. Americans have died because of proxies funded by Iran have killed us.
Yeah.
Enough of it.
And so have proxies from Saudi Arabia killed us.
Yes, but however, yes, 9/11. We talked about that last time. Yes. However,
no. The problem is that I'm not saying they're not, but the problem is that you're saying they're the only, and that's
no. I'm not saying they're the only. No. I'm saying currently.
You know,
we can look at Hamas. We can look at Hezbollah. We can look at the Islamic State.
Who created the problem of the Arabs wanting to have nuclear weapons? Who created?
I would think it was Israel having a nuclear weapon themselves.
That's the problem. My enemy has one. I want one. Right. Now,
but Israel's not going around saying that they want to wipe Iran off the face of the globe or that America is the great Satan. That's Iran. That's Iran saying their goal is to
no.
The regime at the time, their goal was to wipe Israel off the face of the earth, and it's in this Satanist big brother, the United States of America. That's what the mullahs and the IRGC was saying all this time.
And you're right, but you're misinformed.
In what way?
At this point, they, under President Obama, entered into an agreement. They were being reviewed every year, and everything according to the International Atomic Energy Commission, which is an independent commission, international. Okay, there was no danger. The type of uranium that they were developing, and there was an agreement. It was only to create nuclear power. Okay? The problem that you have is that you think that's bullshit, and the problem that I have is that I know that Netanyahu is a liar.
Okay. All right. Let's go with your premise. Okay. However, they were selling oil on the black market, for Bitcoin, whatever, and that money funded their regime. And this blows my mind that liberals are not understanding this. Their regime is so oppressive towards their own people, particularly women. I don't hear the Anna Escamanis or the Angie Nixons or any of these liberal women screaming off the top of their heads, "Oh, we need to protect all women, including Iranian women." Okay, so that's one thing. But let's get back to my first premise here. Okay, I understand. I'll agree with you in regards to the nuclear capabilities. Okay, but the funding of terrorist entities across the globe, from the Houthis to the Islamic State to drug cartels, human trafficking cartels, to the Hamas and Hezbollah, has the signature of the Iranian government. There's no getting around that. They are
your premise is half correct. But let me correct that. Okay. When you say that Iran treats their citizens and their women wrongly, I would agree with that. But your premise is half incorrect. Qatar, Saudi Arabia, United Emirates are all Muslim-controlled countries where the women cannot drive, which have to have their faces covered, and they're second-class citizens. Okay? It's not only Iran. I'm not saying that Iran doesn't do it.
Right. But Iran has stated they want to wipe America and
And,
Israel off the face of the
and
globe.
with all due respect,
These other countries don't say that.
no,
And
they don't. They just do it.
let's add the Boko Haram in Africa, in Nigeria, to that mix too of terrorists
Okay.
who are actively killing Christians.
And basically, yes. But this is the problem that you have. You're pointing against from a false premise. You say they don't say it. You're right. The other Arab countries, they do it. Okay? They don't say it, they do it. That's my problem. I'm not saying that Iran is correct. I'm just saying stop the bullshit that they're the only ones. Okay? Stop the bullshit that the only people who are cruel and bad to the people is Iran. They're one of 5 or 6. But then again, we have another issue. We had a problem with Syria. Syria had nothing to do. It was not financed by Iran. It was financed by Russia and by somebody else.
And Bashar's gone. Bashar is gone.
And the person who replaced him is no better.
And he's now a friend of the UK, of the United States. He's in the suit, shaking hands, making deals.
Yeah.
He's one of ours now.
He's one of ours, yes. And he's one of ours, and he's treating his people as horrible as his predecessor. But that's okay. We're okay with that. And that's been the history of the United States. Mm-hmm. It's like yesterday, Daisy Rodriguez made a speech that if you know Spanish, things in Venezuela have not changed much. What she's done, and she says, and we're so stupid that we can't pick it up. She's saying, I never refused to do business with oil companies. The U.S. put an embargo on me. They didn't let them to create it. But she just signed a contract yesterday with British Petroleum, which she would have signed 10 years ago. And so would Maduro. We were the ones who put the embargo on them. And she's completely right. But going back to Iran, you're right. We also had some other crazy people who were financed by us in the Middle East killing people. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Clarify for me, Jimmy.
They had a black flag. They went into Africa. They went to Iraq. They went to Syria, and they killed a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. In modern times, or are you talking
modern times? We talked about them recently, and you forgot.
Is it ISIS? Or okay.
ISIS.
Yeah.
And ISIS was not funded by Iran.
That's correct. Well, that version, this current version, that's a different story. I'll ask everyone to do their own research. Everyone do your own research.
The original one, who was it financed by?
Would that be there's okay, so we had Osama bin Laden, but he did not usher in the circumstances usher in the ISIS in Afghanistan. Jimmy. Well, I don't think it was. Jimmy, that's a good question. I don't think it was the Shiites. I don't think it was. Jimmy, you got me. I have to do my research.
Basically, the money they got it from. This was a group that was originally part of Bin Laden's group, correct?
Correct.
They split from Bin Laden, and they still continue to receive funding from Saudi Arabia, from the United Arab Emirates, and from Qatar.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm trying to say is, this is what I'm trying to say, and I'm going to make this simple. There are groups out there who basically, ISIS killed Americans, killed Arabs, killed everybody. It was a horrible thing. financed by, it was a group that came out of Bin Laden's group that
Al
basically,
Qaeda.
Al-Qaeda and all that, which also Al-Qaeda, we could say, was never financed by Iran, was always financed by Saudi Arabia. And right now, the people, the Taliban, has never been financed uh, by Iran. It's been financed by as a matter of fact, there was a time that we tend to forget in history. There was a time also that it was part of these groups were funded by Iraq. And there's some people who would argue that Iraq is still under the table helping them, but that is rumor, so I'm not going to even go there. But basically, what I'm trying to say is that there's many countries in the Middle East that are fighting because of their division among Muslims, and they're dividing because of other things. The truth of the matter is that basically Iran is a bad country, but so is Saudi Arabia, so is United Arab Emirates, so is Qatar, so is Bihar. And for that matter, I'm not going to even leave out Afghanistan, who's also putting out there some influence. And it's kind of interesting, but I cannot believe that Bin Laden was in Pakistan, and Pakistan had no idea that he was there.
Down the street from a military base.
Yeah, I have a very hard time. So when people talk about this, look, there's a lot of bad people in the Middle East. What I'm trying to say is Iran's not the only one. Okay, it's one of them, but not the only one. That I think we could agree to. But if you want to continue a fight over something that we were told does not exist anymore, that it was completely destroyed and abolished, and it doesn't even exist anymore, why are we fighting over something that we claim we took care of? I'm not sure about that, but would they grant the United States permission to go in there and drill under their mounts? No, I wouldn't either. Give it to anybody else, because that is something that it would be very dangerous to do. Right now, the best thing that we could hope for, if we really are serious about negotiations, is open the strait. And basically, all we have to do is, okay, we'll let your oil flow if you let the rest of the world's oil flow. We're going to stop yours and the rest of the world.
I just think we've gone so far with this, and that Trump is.
We've done shit. Stop saying we're done. What have we done? Let me tell you what the military told Trump. If you go in there, they're going to close the strait. They have that power. He was advised of that. He did. He ignored the generals. He was told that there was no way we could bombard ourselves to win this war. He was told that. He ignored that. He was told that what Netanyahu was telling him, 90% was lies. He was told that by our military, not by some weird people who are liberals, our military. He was told by our military that it would be a bad idea because Iran are fanatics. They're religious fanatics. Okay? We don't think of them in that way, but they're religious fanatics. Okay? That we would not be able to scare that easily and bombard a couple of things there and say, okay, they're going to quit. That didn't happen. Now we have two alternatives. We kill about 100,000 to 200,000 Americans. Hopefully, we may be able to get to where the uranium is, and we stay there 5 or 10 years and lose another 100,000, like we did in Iraq. For the record, more people died in Iraq after we invaded than during the invasion. And we keep forgetting that they put the bombs on the street and blew up our vehicles and blew up our bases, even after we were there. So if you think you're going to just enter there and everything's going to be cool, and you're stupid. So this is what I'm trying to say. Do you really want to continue spending our money, screwing our economy, and helping kill our kids for something that the majority of Americans don't agree with? Now, I'm going to ask you a question.
Sure.
Do you, as a political somebody wanted to send power, you realize that the majority of the, according to the surveys, the majority of people do not agree with the war in Iran.
I understand that. However, it doesn't make it right.
Well, it doesn't make it right that a lot of things, but uh, the truth of the matter,
Occupying Iran, I believe, is off the table. I'm not in the.
so how are you going to get the uranium?
How you gonna get the uranium? Now, there's a difference between occupying and sending in special forces to extract the uranium. Again, the uranium is probably spread.
Do you know how stupid that
across
sounds?
the country.
Do you know how
What?
stupid that sounds?
No, it doesn't, Jimmy.
No.
It doesn't.
No.
It doesn't.
Let me clarify why I mean stupid.
Mhm. Impractical?
First of all, our military is not trained in extraction of uranium.
A very good point. That's a very good point. You need some specialists. That's true.
And you're not going to do that in 24 hours.
No one said that. Correct.
So you're going to have troops down there for a long period of time. But nobody's going to shoot at them. Nobody's going to kill them. This is what I'm trying to say. When people say, well, we could send troops there, and they did that with Maduro. And they did it real quick because they knew that if they stayed more than 4 hours, they were told the Venezuelans could move their troops there and really be a confrontation. And what I'm trying to say, you're going to, if our intelligence is correct, there are 4 different points. You're going to have to send special troops 4 different points and be there a period of 6 to 8 months to extract it. Nah, this is going to be tests. I'm sorry. This is going to be serious amounts of debt. And that's why, you know.
Okay. Seeing that we're in this ceasefire and seeing that financially, Iran is being starved. That's just a fact. They're producing oil.
No, they're not.
Yes,
no,
they
not.
are. Yes, they are.
No. You know what? No. You know who's helping them?
Operation Economic Fury, for instance.
But you know who's helping them?
I'm sorry?
You know who's helping them?
Russia, China.
And you are not going to go to war with either of those.
I think their cooperation is not as significant as most people would think it is. They're filling up.
According to Russia, it is.
Okay.
Look, again, you're thinking as an American. You're not thinking as a person who's a religious fanatic who would prefer to die than to give in to an infidel.
Okay, so we help them along that path.
I'm saying that's what they call us. Okay,
that's true. That's true.
Okay,
so let's help them along that path, and let's get to the person that is reasonable, who wants to live and who wants to prosper. I mean, really, Iraq is a great nation with great people and great wealth. I don't understand why there are individuals who want to see death before they see their own people thrive. It's mind-boggling. I think that's what the administration is dealing with. And once they get to a person who's willing,
misinformation that was given to the administration, that the people would revolt, the people would look. The problem is that you don't understand history. They do. They kicked out the Shah of Iraq, who was put in power by the U.S. government.
The Brits, yeah.
And the Brits, so they could extract the oil, so they could get it real cheap. And basically, he killed people. He did horrible things as a king, and so did the CIA and the U.S. government. And there was a resentment created within the Iranian people against the U.S. That's why they took the people in the embassy prisoner and all that other stuff. The truth of the matter is that they have not forgotten that. So if their concern is that the Americans are to come back and try to control us and tell us what to do and try to control our economy and try to do what they think we should do, that's what they're afraid of. So the thought that they think of us as a friendly group of people who are going to be there to help them, they don't.
No.
So when you say reasonable people,
I
the
think
problem is, the problem is that we killed them.
the
The people that are
IRGC
now,
and the mullahs, yes,
the people who are now in
hardline.
control are more uh, drastic than the ones that we took out. We killed, just so we understand this, because this is the problem, that we need to be reasonable and stop thinking according to misinformation. Misinformation is they should be reasonable. The person in charge there, you kill his father, his wife, his 2 kids, but he should be reasonable.
And the one right now is on his deathbed. Whoever
Well,
wants to take his place, if they're not going to be reasonable, again, if we have to go through layer after layer of resistance
no,
based on this,
we don't have the time. The economy will not put up with it.
and so we choke theirs. We choke their economy.
We don't. By the time we choke theirs, this is the problem that we do not understand.
It's happening right now, Jimmy.
And it's choking ours right now.
No.
Nah. You don't think that
I don't think so.
things going up higher and higher and higher are not choking our economy? You don't think that the rich and the powerful are sick and tired of paying $6 and $7 a gallon of gasoline? You don't think that they keep seeing that our price of our gas keep going up, and that our prices keep going up, and that's going to screw our economy?
But however, Jimmy,
if your analogy is they're worse, you're right.
But however,
Does
Jimmy,
that make us better? No.
but Jimmy, we had not too far off, very recently, we had gas high, we had the cost of eggs, the cost of bacon, and every other staple high. We were looking at 7-9% inflation. We're not looking at that right now. We do see a bump in oil-related products, gas, plastic, whatever. Right now, the true inflation that is happening right now is about 2%, and everything else is leveling out. But the cost of gas, yes.
God,
but people are no. Wait.
Where do you come with the 2%?
Okay, so when I can show you in a moment. Let me explain. The BLS, the information that the Federal Reserve or whoever put this together, the BLS put together, is based on data points that are outdated or very limited. The information that I research, I'll prove it. Okay, I'll prove it. Just give me a moment. The information that
you have information from a group of people who have an agenda.
And that agenda is what? When the data does it, the data is
lie to you to make you feel. Look, are you going to tell me? Okay, no, wait a minute.
But Jimmy, you know I do my research. I wouldn't say this unless I did.
You do your research at bad points. You're right. You do your research at bad points. Say this is bad because this is no good, but this is the real one based on bullshit. I'm sorry, because there is no evidence that either of them is right and the other is wrong. This is what I'm going to say to everybody. The economy is hurting in this country. And when you say it's gas controls the trucks that's bringing my food. Gas controls the cost of the furniture that I buy. Gas controls the cost of everything that you buy. The problem that you do not understand when you say that is the price of gas, is that this country, everything is gas dependent. From the light that we put on to the food that we put in our mouth. As a matter of fact, even for all purposes, the pumps that pump our water, we use gas. The electricity that we use uses gas. Everything is going up. I just got my bill from OUC, and there is a what they call a petroleum adjustment, which just went up the price of my electricity. So when you say it's just the gas, like it's only that's bullshit. Gas controls everything in this country, everything. The truth of the matter is that you could show me whatever table you want, but if you ask the average Joe if he feels that everything is going up on prices, food, everything, he will say yes. And you know what? They're not lying to you. Why? Because the truck from Publix that takes The food from Lakeland to Orlando, the cost of that diesel is more expensive than it was in the past. And guess who pays for that? Publix? Hell no. So when you tell me that it's only the gas and the petroleum derivative, this is a country that we depend on it. Is there anything that are in our economy that's not gas dependent? I can't think of any. That's what. So when they say it's 2%, that's bullshit. Because they're starting from the premise that it's only gas, but everything else is increased.
Right, and this is what I want to share, the Trueflation index, and I can put a link for everyone to go and see for themselves and do their own research. But the True Inflation Index of inflation covers a broad number of data points in our economy, and it is typically 30 to 60 days ahead of what the BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, put together and officially reported by the U.S. government every week. So I just want to put that up there right now. It's just under 2% as far as core
Okay,
inflation.
let me do one thing and ask you one question so you can answer it next week.
Yes, sir.
Who owns true inflation?
I'm sorry, what was the
Who
question?
owns it? Who owns true inflation?
I will find that out. I will have that information for you.
You go for it.
Do you want me to look for it now?
No. Next week.
Okay. All right. I'll do it for
I'm
next
about
week.
to enter into the fuck ups of the week.
Okay. Yes. This is probably not our longest interview on record, so I'm loving it. So yes, let's go to the fuck ups of the week, and let me get rid of this. Okay. We are back. Oh, we're not back. Let's get us back on the screen. Okay. There we go.
Biggest fuck ups of the week. Let's start with the Democrats. Democrats learn from the Republicans. Just like I told my dear friend David, the majority of this country is not in the middle. Math, simple math. 40% of this country identifies himself as progressive. 38% of this country defines themselves either MAGA or conservatives. That's 78% of the people. Those people, I would never call a MAGA person or a conservative person a moderate person. I would never call a progressive person a moderate person. That leaves 22% of the people. But they've been sending you signs. And for some reason, you have not learned. First sign they sent you was call your campaign manager, Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump had no experience in politics, was a womanizer, was a gambler, was a TV star, and had no qualifications whatsoever to be a president of the United States. But he talked of change. Who, by the way, started that and stole that from Obama. He said the government is wrong. The government is doing you wrong. We are going to go through this. And we're going to bring you something new. I'm going to, at the cesspool, I'm going to get rid of the people who are fucking you over. I'm going to bring in a new America. He never did. But he knew how to campaign. He knew that the American people do not want a Mitt Romney. They don't want a Schumer. They don't want a Pelosi. They don't want a Mike Johnson. They don't want anybody. Why is the race in Texas so uprooting? Two factors. The Republicans do not want Jim Crowley because they consider him establishment. They want a crook and a man who was unfaithful to their wife, who 20 years ago would have never been able to run for office as a serious candidate for the U.S. Senate. And the Democrats do not want one of their leadership, and they found one of their state senators, Teferico, to run, and right now he's beating both of them. Why? because he's talking of change. Change is what this country wants. Stop talking about Trump. Stop talking about everything else. Stop talking that you're going to save this country from the madness that is currently in. Now, my fellow Republicans, yours is much simpler. You have got us into a war by not doing anything. You allowed Donald Trump to declare a war without the consent of Congress, go in there, lie to the people saying that they were in imminent danger when we weren't. Is Iran a bad country? Yeah, it is. Does it do terror? Yes, it does. Does it say death to America? Yes, it does. And for the record, so does North Korea. But that's a story for another day. And a lot of Chinese during Mao said the same thing. Right now, we need to stop choking our economy, which is part of the world's economy. We have to stop paying $4 and $5 for a gallon of gasoline, and we have to stop paying for war that's also going to choke our economy. And by the way, when I saw that little thing of truth, inflation does not put military expenses in there. And if you're going to spend $2 trillion on the national economy and put $2 trillion on the credit card, that's going to affect our economy and our inflation. But they don't take that into account because wars are always justified. There's never been an unjust or stupid war in the world. And I'll go the reverse. Every war has been stupid because people die. Republicans, you're going to campaign with only 32% of the country thinking that the war in Iran is fair. You're going to campaign with asking the American people to be paying by the time of the permits in August $5 to $6 a gallon of gasoline, just because you don't want Iran to have the Iranians that Donald Trump in his first term said you can by breaking the treaty. Also, you're going to have to campaign saying there's no subsidy for your health insurance. And by the way, the $300 that you got back from your taxes, big deal. You already had to spend it in other things. Your food is more expensive. Your clothing is more expensive. Your gasoline is more expensive. And everything is more expensive. And you're going to wonder why the independents are going to abandon you. You promised to fix the economy, and you fucked it up. With that, subscribe, like or dislike. Next week, I promise we're not going to talk that much. I'm going to try to get to your comments, which I couldn't this week, but next week, I promise we will. But with that in mind, I hope that everything goes right and be peaceful. And remember, the enemy is not the federal employees. It's the corrupt U.S. House, the corrupt U.S. Senate, and the corrupt White House. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you so much. It was a great show.
Take care.
Talk to you soon. Real soon.
Real soon.
Bye now.